are now listening to the Dad Bodds Podcast with your hosts, the Odds Fellow, Punisher Picks, LockBets.net, and your announcer, Guns Picks. So time to strap in, dads. It's time to join the father figures in the Dad Bodds Podcast.
What's going on, guys? It is your boy, Patty J. Dad Bodds, episode 67. I wish it was episode 69, Guns, because, that's one of my favorite numbers.
We'll have to do a very special episode for 69.
Today's show is not represented by Michelob Light, but one day it may be. Cheers, guys. Grab something cold because we're locked in today. Episode 67 with my co-host and compadre, Mr. Guns Picks. Gunsy, talk to me, brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm going through that lethargic stage now that like college football is over and we hit the 2-0 on 4-unit plays this year. I rarely have one, but that checked all the boxes, and we saw the changing of the guards in the SEC. I guess the title does belong to the SEC still, but it belongs to a different team. We have the Georgia Bulldogs getting their first championship since 1980. Electric game, to say the least. Nerve-wracking when you have a big play like that, but overall, I'm sitting back, relaxed. I was up units for the year, plus 35 in 2 years or something like that is what I tracked it out. But it's quite a ride, quite a roller coaster, and now we can just breathe. And then I'm into college basketball now. So, crazy
the grind
game.
Never stops.
The grind never stops. What did you think of the game? I mean, the first half was kind of like thing going.
Well, first off, Guns, I'm just happy to be here with you because I was worried for a little bit, man. Going into the game, I saw a lot of fish on Alabama. I saw a lot of very smart people on Georgia, but as a good friend of ours always kind of says, Mr. Double B, he says there is a Twitter curse. There's a gambling Twitter curse, and I was getting agita for you. I saw how many units you were going on Georgia, and I was watching the tempo of the game. I did not believe in this Bennett guy. I mean, Bennett, I must not be watching enough Georgia, but I did not believe in him, and I was worried for you. So I'm happy to see it first and foremost. And then secondly, until I give it to you, if you're Bama, you're kicking yourself in the teeth. You cannot allow yourselves to kick, what was it, 4 or 5 field goals in a row? You got to get points there. You got to get a touchdown. You got to get to pay dirt.
Right.
You're not gonna beat Georgia in the national championship game with field goals. What did you think, Guns? Did you have a fun time watching? Did you have some?
No, not at all. I had no fun. I had zero fun. I finished the first half. I got to that point where I was worried about Stetson Bennett if he could actually score, other than getting him possibly into field goal range. I was just waiting for the levee to break, and I thought the levee was going to break when we saw the fluke fumble when he tried to throw the ball away, slipped out of his hands. Smart play from the Bama guy I don't even know if he was really trying or he was just kind of, nonchalant, just kind of finishing the play. Had his foot in bounds, scored that touchdown, and I thought, there's the momentum shifter. The game's over. And what is the poise of that kid to have a detrimental play in a championship situation? Crowd is not on your side at that point. Take them down the field absolutely lightning fast and get a quick score, put you back in the game. You're up 1. They took control of the game from that point on, and the defense was like, "I got your back. We're on your side." They get the ball back. They score. It was absolute perfection from the end of the third quarter to the fourth quarter. They dominated from that point on, and that's the Georgia that I've been riding all year. So it was nice to see them pull out the victory. I feel bad because when they lost Williams, the wide receiver, their deep threat for the game. They actually lost 2 of their wide receivers from the SEC championship on. that were key members to their passing game. I think that kind of played into, them not being able to move the ball downfield fast, long pass plays. They kind of went to the tight ends and started going to the running back a little bit more short game. And once Georgia took control, they had nothing left in the tank. So, I mean, kudos to them.
And relying on, some freshman wide receivers to fill in. It's they played fairly well considering, the spotlight, but those 50-50 balls that the veterans on Alabama usually bring in, they weren't bringing it in. So, like you said, though, kudos to Georgia. Georgia proved a ton just on their longevity and just staying in the game,
I think the key thing here is, like, a lot of these guys you're going to be seeing next year. You notice that the lead pass rusher number 31, he's coming back. Williams is coming back. He's projected to be one of the top wide receivers coming out of the draft in 2022. I'm sorry, the next year. So I think they're bringing a lot of these guys back. I know your boy, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on the quarterback for Alabama. Right? Bryce. Yeah, Bryce Heisman. Bryce Heisman. He's coming back next year. So you're going to see the same thing with Georgia. A lot of these guys for Georgia is going to be coming back too. So, I mean, we may be seeing a rematch here. Who knows? I don't know where. It's hard for me to tell right now as it stands today where each team's going to be at until we get to August. So it's crazy. I do want to see the changing of the guards, though. Let's move the title back to a different conference, shall we?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, you got the new coaches and new places, though. I mean,
right.
It may take a few years for Lincoln Riley, but you got to think that he's going to hit the ground running over there, huh?
I think he's going to flip that. I mean, if there's anyone that can flip that program around, it's him. I don't know what other direction you can go. Especially with having that Los Angeles, tons of schools there. I think they've let a lot of talent go out of California, and having a real heavy true recruiter like Lincoln Riley that really keeps a lot of talent in state. I think that's gonna help out getting USC back into the fold. I know a lot of the Big Ten. Ohio State poaches a lot from California. So does Notre Dame.
I mean, Bryce Young. I didn't realize Bryce Young's from California, playing down down in Alabama. You're just poaching a Cali kid.
Yeah, I don't think them getting 5 stars is going to change for Bama or you got Brian Kelly and LSU. I think there's going to be some changing of the guards there. I don't know what he's always been able to bring in guys that can recruit, and he kind of just finishes the deal. I don't know how he's going to do in LSU, but I don't know. The season's over now, and I don't know the direction of any team. I just know Notre Dame has to play Ohio State in week 1, and I'm like, I'm scared to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bad night to be a Labatt Blue down in South Bend, Indiana.
Oh my God, that'd be a different night. But
Guns, man, pivoting quickly.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah.
What's up with? Are you a Twitter Spaces guy? I think you've been all over the map with your Twitter Spaces. Did you get drunk one night? I heard a story. Is this true?
Yes.
You got a little buzzed.
Yes,
and
I did.
Were you all over into these Twitter Spaces? Tell me this little, tell the listeners at home this story.
Yeah, it was late at night and I was just bored. Nothing on TV.
Okay.
I had a few drinks. I was watching a few games. I don't remember what night. I might have been during bowl season. It had to have been during bowl season. It was like, the bowls just ended or something like that. Had a good night. And I was just like seeing a couple Twitter Spaces just kind of pop up in my feed. So they were all crypto related. And then, you pop it up and you go, I'm just going to go into here. And then I'll ask to speak. And then I went in there kind of trolling a little bit. And a couple of them kicked me out just because I would be like, hey, listen, I'm having a good day. I was saying, I was like, I'm currently 10-2 on college football plays. what do you guys want to know? Any questions or something like that? He goes, oh, you're in the wrong space, and kicked me out. One space kept me in there, and I was talking for probably 20 minutes, and they were
Holy
actually
cow.
like legitimately asking me questions about who to take when and where and what the situation is. Gained 10 followers from that Twitter space that night.
What was the Twitter space? Do we know?
It was about crypto. It was a crypto chat of some sort.
My gosh.
That's kind of what it was. It had nothing to do with sports, because I was looking for the sports ones and there was just nothing out there. But I mean, we're talking, this was like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Did you get any crypto? Did you get any crypto insight? Does anybody
I just
crypto?
I was like, yeah. Well, I asked some advice. I was like, well, I mean, I have no idea how this thing
works. When one year without the other.
It might have been NFTs too. They might have been talking about that as well. So I was a little confused.
Are big.
Like,
those are big.
So I was kind of shitting on it a little bit, but I was like, maybe I'm just dumb. I was like, I'm just a dumb guy that bets on sports. I was like, tell me why I need to invest in this. So I was kind of like just asking all these questions, and I engaged them a little bit, and then they just kind of tolerated me until I was like, I can't believe they let me talk this long. I'll just hang up. So it was time for me to go to bed at that point.
I actually admittedly had a similar scenario. It wasn't Twitter Spaces. It was actually before Twitter Spaces. I'm aging myself here because it was last year during quarantine. It was the Clubhouse app. It was like yes. It was the Clubhouse.
I remember
app.
Clubhouse. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Holy cow! I was ripped. I mean, I was rinsed. I was fucked up. I mean, this was probably 2:00 in the morning, same time frame, and I got these beer muscles or beer vocal cords, and I asked to speak in a T-Mobile. The CEO of T-Mobile was in it, like all these entrepreneurs, and I raised my hand. Yeah. And I was like, hey, just want to let you know that the future is, in fact, in legalized sports gambling. If you want some locks, come down to lockbets.net. Yep. And they let me go. They let me go for 3-4 minutes. And then I remember one guy chiming in like, is he done? Is he done? And that was my experience with Clubhouse. And I've been staying away, but you know what? I could be swindled into Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, I thought about like just kind of doing that one more time, but I did it that one time. I figured like that was such a good experience. I don't know if I'll be able to get away with that again, but who knows? I know during if I have a good wild card weekend, I might just hop in on a Saturday and just most of the time I used it to kind of promote like dad bods, or I promote like guns picks, or I go and promote GPO lock was something that I promoed on there, so people were interested in that. It was like kind of crazy. But speaking of GPO lock, we're going to add in the odds fellow into the group. While we if you're listening right now, he has joined the group as we are just bullshitting about our trolling on Twitter Spaces. As I did a Twitter Space last night after the Georgia.
It was way past my bedtime, so I had to get upstairs. I wanted to join the Spaces, but I was laying next to my wife and figured if the headphones slipped out and she heard Guns picks barking like a dog, I don't know. It might have worked. Maybe it would have worked. It would have worked. Second thought, I think I missed an opportunity.
I told you I was pounding my chest, barking like a dog. I was like, I'm gonna go find a red shirt to put on right now so I could feel part of the team here. But yeah, I was rooting hard. That pick 6 was the catalyst, and I was running around my basement just going, "Let's go!"
Fun game.
If you bark like a dog, is that cool for like your wives? I'm not a dad. I'm not a husband. Are girls into that?
No.
Okay.
I'm told to keep it down, and I did my best, but I had to just like say, there was a lot of money on the line on that one, so you have to understand.
Gosh, golly.
Yeah, so that's.
I was just happy you were in good spirits. I was happy you were, breathing, man. It must have been tough for you. Very tough.
I mean, think about it. I started off so bad on the bowl season, then I ended 19-5 with plus 28 units. I mean, it was an absolutely unreal back end of the college football bowl season. So I was rooting. I wish I went 5 units, and I think I'm gonna have to change my scenario next season about my check boxes, because my check boxes work once they all
All right.
check.
Well, you heard it here first. Next national championship, Guns Picks is putting a 5-bag.
If it fits
burner.
the bill, if it checks
Okay.
the boxes,
Okay.
if
All
it
right.
checks the boxes, I'll make the play. I had Baylor, and I had I don't want.
I feel like I'm cursed. Anytime I go above, like a 1.5 is fine. I've messed with some 2s, some 3s. I don't think I've ever posted a 4 or 5, even if I've had some more shekels on it personally. But it loses every single time. Every time. Lock down. If you see me with multiple units, run the other way.
I made it a 4 unit play, but I can tell you, it was more than 4 units on my end. I was hitting money line. I wanted to do adjusted line.
What'd you do? Did you do anything in game with all that money and that liability on? Did you react?
I did the first.
In game and do
no, well, somewhat. I like the first half. I didn't hit, and I was mad. And I just said, well, let me just check the second half line. And it was minus 0.5, and the juice was towards Georgia. And usually when I see that juice move towards Georgia, I was like, I got to grab it. I was like, something's got to happen here. So that's what I did is I just doubled back on them.
It was tied at that point?
It was 9-6.
9-6.
So I lost the first. It was minus 2 or 1.5 on the first half. Yeah, and then so it was minus 0.5, and then the juice was going towards Georgia, so I figured the sharp money was back in the Georgia trend, which made sense. I just felt it was I was like it checked. I was like, there's no way that it was like the perfect storm of like this. There's no way that Georgia can lose this bet. They just can't. They can't. And I was convinced in my head. I was like, should I do it? I was like, fuck it. I just did it. Just went for it.
Well, that's why we pay him the big bucks. And if you didn't know, he is the top NCAA football capper in the GPO Lock family. And speaking of which, if you like NBA, look no further. Odds fella, how the hell are we doing with NBA? I know there was a few ice cubes in the chat today. Are we feeling cold? Are we feeling hot? Is now a time to start tailing?
Now's the time to get involved. We'll see how there's a 2-unit play floating around right now. So, like I said, cautious. But yeah, no, it's been a good season. I'm trying to pull it up as we talk. Definitely a good time to get involved because I've been a little slower the last day or two. So, that's always a good time. We always joke about, catch somebody on the upswing, and I think I'm going to get back to my consistency in that upswing here shortly. So we're excited. NBA's tough, man. I got to find spots and narrow it down. I try not to play too big of cards because there's so much volatility night to night.
Yeah. I mean, I know this has been going around mainstream media and stuff. Did you see Draymond Green the other day, huh? He checked in for 1 second. He fouls the guy like ceremoniously and then like tells Klay Thompson, you got this from here. He was only in for 2 seconds. And,
I know. I think it was because of the Klay comeback, right?
Right.
Wasn't that tipped off on Twitter though? That was tipped off.
People were hammering it. People were
tipped it off.
Under. I didn't know it was tipped off.
That's right. No, because Sham posted something that he was doing some sort of
Sham your buddy.
Shams. He's like the Schefter. He's like the Adam Schefter of the NBA.
Oh,
that's correct.
I thought Woj was like that. Isn't that Woj?
You're right.
Woj. It's just a different network.
Woj is like his daddy,
So he tipped off something that he was only going in for a play and then he was coming out or something like that. And he was starting and just coming in for a play. So everybody went to the prop and hit the under.
Yeah, because they did the same game parlays. They did under assists,
on all the
under points,
yep.
Under rebounds.
Smart.
And apparently, from what I'm hearing, DraftKings, shame on you. FanDuel, shame on you. Apparently, they're holding these tickets hostage. My thing is, if I'm DraftKings, I'm going to pay it out.
Yeah,
and then they're gonna come right back to daddy. They're gonna
come.
They'll all come
back.
Look,
it's like NFL incentives. Did you see that Gronk video of him mic'd up talking about the 7 catches? Like everybody knew these things were out there. The props market, like some of the lines moved, but a lot of them weren't crazy. I still got Gronk over like 5.5 or 6.5. He needed 7 catches. Like it was still there.
Yeah.
The sharpest move is you basically look for any players that are looking for those incentives, and then you just basically look to see
I just
where
thought the books would make it
numbers
so unfavorable to bet or
Correct.
put you over the line to screw you, and they didn't do it, which was surprising.
No, they just played it by the numbers of how they play in the certain
I think they
spots
know that. I think they know there's a big stretch, the national championship and then playoffs, and they're like, you know what, let's not fuck people today, but let's fuck them, tomorrow.
Correct.
Let's wait till they get 3 straight days of playoff games and they can't see straight.
If you show me a gambler, now not a rookie that just does one bet and he's literally done. Show me a gambler that wins a parlay. I would guarantee the next 4 weeks he's chasing that same exact high. And unfortunately, I have a very, very tough thing to say. 95% of those people chasing the Magic Dragon fall straight on their face, give more money back to the books, and are left with zero. And now they're asking DraftKings for a free bet. Give me another free bet. Give me a boost.
Well, I have some updates for you on how not to get to zero. So my MBA on the season is 222, 184 and 2. There's a lot of numbers I just spewed at you, but that's good for almost 55%, 54.68 and 10.44 units. So we're still plus. That's coming off. I said like 2 out of the last 3 have been some losing days. Yesterday wasn't great because I had 2 late losses. I had a Nets live bet that you can always get in Slack, which is fun. And then the Cavs didn't show up. And my 1.5 unit, again, because I went above 1 unit, didn't show up. So here we are. But we're going to get it back today. We're going to cruise past 15, and then we're going to go to 20, and then, talk to you in 2 weeks. And we'll see where we're at.
Not to mention, Odds Fellow, great job on the Capper Collect leaderboard. He was our resident top tier guy. I mean, I thought you had it, bro. I thought you had it. I hate to tip my hat to the winner, but
he deserves it, and he was there he was in the top spot for a long time.
He never left. I mean, he stayed there.
Is he the Voldemort of the Capper Collective leaderboard, or we can't even say his name?
No, Brian Bevo. It's Bevo, right?
Bevo. The
Bevo. Dude, good job. I know you're watching right now. Congrats. You deserved it. Did you pay him out, or were you going to do like installments, like ones?
I got to chase a few other, degens that haven't paid up, and I also have a split. So I tied for second, and then 2 people technically tied, I guess, for fourth. We were going to pay out the top 4 spots, and now technically I have 5 people in the mix. I got to figure out what I'm doing. We didn't really.
You're a numbers guy. You are a numbers guy.
We didn't really write in the tiebreakers too well. So
no.
Not great.
Which does lead me to the next point. We're talking about NFL. Real quick, let's just talk about the head coaching carousel. Joe Judge, good riddance. What do you think? Sound off, Ant? Are we feeling good about that move?
So I caught it. I was going to swim class, being a good dad. Shout out dads. Shout out the dads.
Shout out dads.
And the moms. Going to swim class, I get on the radio, and he's like, he was just fired. And I'm like, wow, I thought this guy was safe. And then there was 2 days of New York sports radio and fans going absolutely fucking apeshit because that was not acceptable. So I think the Maras, whatever happened overnight and today, finally gave into the pressure. And I'm not surprised. This guy wanted to get fired in the last few weeks. The Giants are a dumpster fire. The Jets are in better long-term hands than the New York Football Giants. Think about that. Let that sink in.
Wow. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, listeners? The New York Jets are in better hands than the almighty Giants. Wow. I could get used to that one.
Yeah.
Guys,
they're in shambles.
What do you think about – I'm curious to hear your take on Flores getting fired. Yeah. I thought that was the biggest surprise of the year for me.
That move led me to believe that they had another guy in line that they wanted to put.
There's got to be.
There's a couple things. That's one.
That was shocking.
The other thing is that the offense, he went through 3 offensive coordinators while he was the coach there. Granted,
it was definitely multiple. You're right. It was 2 or 3.
So from their standpoint, did the defense improve when he was there? Absolutely did. But it was almost like you had a head coach that was just playing like a defensive coordinator and not taking care of his offense. And that showed when you were getting rid of offensive coordinators left and right. The offense was not proven. 2 is not really, you spend a first round pick on this guy and you expect him to do big things. Is it because he's not that good, or is it because he's not had the proper coaching? Maybe that's why they made the move and got rid of him. I know what happened to them, winning all those games at the end of the year, but they started 1-7. They had one of the weakest schedules on the back half of the season. They only really beat the Patriots. And I guess you can count the Ravens in there too, but I think the Ravens were so banged up at that point. They had no shot.
It was also a Thursday. So
yeah, it was on a Thursday too. So it was like the perfect scenario of situational football. And, he's just like one game under 500 in his tenure there. So, I mean, I just think he's not a head coach. I think he's a defensive coordinator, and he's going to have no problem landing a spot with somebody that's going to need to improve their defense. Who knows? Could he go back to the Patriots? I don't even think the Patriots have a defensive coordinator right now. I don't know. I thought it was Belichick half the time, every time I watched them play. So would they take Flores back?
As like a special assistant.
Well, yeah, I mean, Patricia came back. Flores, he probably could sneak his way in there to be like a D-backs coach or something like that. Who knows? But I think there was some Dolphins fans really mad at it. It was, they were bringing him back. I'm like, just look at the full picture. I was like, this is kind of a mirage you're looking at. It's not going to be the future of the team. And is Jim Harbaugh going to be the next coach there? You always hear these rumors about him and his buddy over there, the Michigan man himself, the GM or the owner or whoever is from University of Michigan. So he's got some ties with Harbaugh.
Ross,
yep.
Ross writes some Michigan checks.
Yeah. So I don't know what to me, it seemed like they already had somebody in mind that they wanted to replace him with, and it wasn't.
I actually think Flores could be a sneaky candidate for the Giants. You might
maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Double dip on Patriots.
Jags.
Back to the tree. Yeah.
Yeah, he stays in Florida and just goes to Jacksonville. I mean, I don't know. He'll find a job somewhere, whether it be a head coach or DC. I just think he's a better defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. That's just me. But yeah, I mean, who else got fired? I mean, Nagy got fired, right? That was kind of coming. That was writing on the wall on that one.
Yeah, Nagy, Fangio, and Zimmer.
Fangio got fired Saturday, and then Zimmer. Zimmer was not a shock.
Going to Cowboys, I heard. Maybe
he's got Cowboys ties as a coordinator over the years, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up back there.
Great defensive coordinator
in some way, yeah. Especially if Dan Quinn leaves. If Quinn ends up getting a coaching job coming out of this, which hopefully he doesn't, but Dallas always does well bringing some of those guys back into the family as coordinators. Some of these guys are made out to be coordinators. That's what they should be doing, not head coaches.
Right.
Zimmer's
got a head coach. I mean, he's a head coach for the Vikings forever, so it's not like he can't do it.
Yeah. The real question is, will his Instagram girlfriend stay with him?
Oh yeah,
that's what I was true.
Put the poll up. Somebody put the poll up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Put the poll
Maybe
up.
she wants to move. Depends on what location he goes to. Like, you got to go someplace to a warmer climate. Maybe go be the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if that would be good enough. Jacksonville's kind of inland, right? It's not really the ideal place to go live. But I don't know. It was that the only shocking fire to me was the Flores one. I think everything else. Yeah. But
which does lead us to the next point. Huge weekend of Wild Card Weekend. Guns, is it time? Do I hear something going on right now? Is that music in the background? What is that?
Oh, are you talking about? We're gonna make some picks. Are you talking about the Dad Bodds capper breakdown?
That's what I thought. I thought I heard something.
It is time for the Dad Bodds Capper Breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
Bam.
Graphics
all day
That's
long.
what it was. That's what it was. Guns, the rumor is you have a pick. So let's hear it, brother.
All right. Let me pull up my notepad here on the old Phone-a-reno. And I'm going with looking at the wild card weekend. I'm going to go with an NFL pick. Might as well, right? And I'm going to be talking about this on my new and improved Guns Picks Plays of the Week that you can find on Dad Bodds on posted on Saturday mornings every week all the way through the playoffs. So please check that out on the Dad Bodds YouTube channel. And this would be one of the plays that I will be talking about. And I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. +3, +3.5, depending on what books you can find it at right now. Is the 3.5 gone? So it's still at 3. I know. Oh wait, odds fell. I'm sorry. I got
breaking this play. The odds fellows.
I forgot odds fellow was here. Damn it! There's the fucking. All right, here we go. So you got to look at the Niners situation right now. They're red hot. They've won 7 out of the last 9. They've played a very strong schedule. They're coming off a brilliant second half against the LA Rams. They went down 17-0 in that game. They didn't have their top offensive tackle in that game, Trent Williams. I think he's going to be playing this week. That is absolutely key to protecting Garoppolo, Jimmy G, who's been playing kind of banged up himself. Played well last week. You saw that second half. They made the comeback, won the game in overtime with it. I mean, just giving up that touchdown, driving back. They're in the playoffs. So now they're going to go on the road. They're playing against a Dallas team that basically the last 5 weeks of the season, they've just beaten up their own division in the NFC East. They've beaten up Washington. They've beaten up the Giants. They beat up the Eagles with like half their starters out. So I can't really look at this team going into the playoffs like they're really battle tested and ready to go. I think the Niners are. You also got Kittle's back. You got Deebo Samuel. So they're virtually at full strength. They're still a little bit banged up, but it seems like everybody's going to be playing. And you also got to watch the Dallas Cowboys when they have to play like a decent defense. I think they match up well against the Dallas Cowboys. They only allow 310 yards per game of total offense to other teams, which is 3rd in the NFL. I know Dallas is the number 1 offense. I know they're going to be playing at home. They're going to be jazzed up, but I love road dogs in wild card game situations. And it seems like the sharp money is playing on the 49ers right now. So I like that as well. So I got to be rolling with the 49ers on this one. Back-to-back weeks, and this will be one of the plays on the Guns Picks NFL wild card weekend breakdown. Give me the 49ers +3, +3.5 as the play.
Odds fellow, do you have anything to comment on that play?
Yeah, I know. He just held up a Dallas Cowboys sign. I know you're.
I was turning around. I was looking somewhere behind me to see what memorabilia. There's a lot of Yankee stuff hanging. There's a Tony Romo ball that I don't feel like taking out of the case because if I move it, it's going to be impossible to get back in the thing. But
there's also a lot of experience on that team that battle tested in the playoffs too.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to play the Niners. This is the worst. I don't want to say it's the worst matchup, but it's a team I didn't want to face. I haven't dug into the matchup a little bit. I'm going to do a lot of prep for me and the Sheesby. One half of the Sheesby brothers, the old man who bets, will be live tomorrow on Twitter for short-term high volatility investments. We're going to rattle through every game too. But I think you're thinking about this game correctly. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think San Francisco is going to get stops and going to get a pass rush on Dak. That offense has looked out of rhythm the last few weeks. Yeah, they've gotten right in some spots against some of those bad teams, like you mentioned, or some of the backups down the stretch. But I also like the Dallas defense getting healthier. The last couple of weeks, they've had that pass rush fully back of Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory, and DeMarcus Lawrence, a squad that did not play together as a threesome for most of the season. Then they came back in pieces. Micah didn't play. Week 17, Lawrence and Randy Gregory did. Week 18. So I think you're going to see a low scoring, battle here. Shanahan wants to run the ball. If he does start throwing, I think they're going to get pressure and disrupt Jimmy G, and it's not who you want to rely on. I think it really comes down to kind of what you were outlining. Can the Dallas offense get back in sync and do enough. Because I think their defense will play well. What worries me is that offense because it hasn't looked right.
Right. I don't hate that take on the under too. I mean, I think
it's not probably because it's I don't know what it's at right now, but it'll get some public attention because of the offenses to think, okay, this thing's going to soar over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Dallas defense is as healthy as it's been in a while too, and they're going to do enough damage to the 49ers, who, quite frankly, I mean, they look hit or miss on the offensive side. It's all a matter of like how Jimmy G feels.
Yeah, I mean, that number's 50.5. That is too high.
Crazy. That's too high.
That's way too high.
I do lean under on that one.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, and really, if you're playing in the wild card round, I think under should be your lean on most of these games anyways. It's like, because it's more of a time management, strategical coaching move to like, hold the ball as long as possible, control time of possession, and just get strategical points in key elements of the game. It's not more of this fun and gun stuff. I mean, granted, the Raiders and the Bengals could be one of those high scoring games, but if the weather's going to suck there too, I mean, there might be an under there as well. Who knows? Absolutely. But I mean, you got a lot of good defenses playing this week. I mean, the Steelers and Chiefs, that's got to be, 46.5 on that one on a Chiefs game is crazy low. But I mean, it's one of those things that the one game that stuck in my mind that just shot out of was that 49ers Cowboys game. Unfortunately, I can't. I wanted to touch the Patriots one, but that's too much of my heart versus my head.
Well, what's your take? I did want to ask about that one because that's division teams playing each other in the first round. I hate seeing it. I'd rather these teams match up later on. But what do you think about the trilogy matchup here?
I mean, trends wise, you're better off taking the dog, and if the division guys go against each other in a wild card spot. I don't know. The last couple weeks, last 3 or 4 weeks with the Patriots, they've just kind of not looked their best versus good teams. I mean, they got crushed by the Bills. They go to Miami, and granted, they really had nothing to play for in that one, but they didn't look good in that spot too. And you see Jones throwing picks like a rookie, which kind of is scary, especially you're going to have to go to Buffalo, and who knows what the weather's going to be like there. Are you going to be ready to play? Rookies in wild card situations don't usually bode well, especially in their first games. So I'm a little bit worried for the spot. I think it's going to be close, and I'm hoping that the defense is able to make stops and help out, the offense to kind of give them a little bit of confidence going into that game. But it's a scary spot, and I say fuck the Raiders for not tying, because I would have had to play the Bengals, and I would have rather played the Bengals than play Buffalo in that spot. That's kind of, you just kneel the ball down and keep the Steelers out of it.
Yeah.
And then the Raiders had to play the Chiefs. I don't know if they wanted to play Patty Mahomes. Maybe they
not after the way they matched up with them twice in the regular season, right?
Right. So, did Oddsfellow give us pick for the breakdown? Did I miss that on the NBA?
You have one?
You going NBA?
I got 2 leans because it's tough to see the lines overnight. Yeah. But we'll give you 2 spots to look, and then follow me on Twitter in the morning, and I'll release these as freebies. But the 2 are so there's 2 teams, both on L3s here. The Houston Rockets visit the San Antonio Spurs. It should be somewhere between 4.5 and 5.5, and I like the Spurs at home to snap that 3-game losing streak and get right. They're pretty even home and away, but this Rockets team is really bad, overall, right? They're pretty bad, but they're 4-18 away from their home court, 1-9 in their last 10, and really just can't seem to get anything right. So, I don't think it's not like it's a letdown spot for the Spurs. They're actually trying to get right and get back on track at home too, getting a little bit healthier. They've had some COVID issues to deal with, but DeJounte Murray and a lot of their guys and their guns should be back. Still no Derek White, but we'll see if that changes in the morning. But I do like them in that 4.5 to 6 range. So that's spot number 1. The other spot that I'm really interested in, just because I think they're a better team, but I want to see where the line comes out, is the Mavs visiting the New York Knickerbockers at the Garden. Could be interesting angle for Porzingis here if he is healthy and playing. He's been out a little bit with some of the COVID protocol, health and safety protocol, but Luka is back in the lineup, and this Mavs team is playing much, much better. They're actually on a 6-game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10. So I just think you're going to get Luka wanting to put on a show, wanting to put out. And, at the end of the day, there's nobody on that Knicks squad that can keep up with them, right? If that Mavs offense is humming, I just don't see the Knicks, being able to hang. And I think you're going to get a short line here because it's a shorthanded Mavs team on the road against, again, a Knicks team that is playing a little bit better. But, just to me, doesn't have the horses and firepower to keep up with Luka and that Mavs offense. So we'll see those two, initial leans, Mavs at the Garden and the Spurs at home against the Rockets.
Bam.
Yeah.
Last but not least.
Love it. Guys, there is an old saying in the book. Sorry for cutting you off there, Guns. There's an old saying in the book.
No. I was letting you go. Last but not least, I was giving it to you.
Give it your all. Leave everything out there. And right now I'm at 2% on my battery. My headphones aren't even in. And I'm just ready to fucking roll. And you know who else is ready to roll? Tom Brady. He's not fucking around. I think that what happened on Saturday, was it Saturday? The Eagles getting plummeted. I think that's going to do so much worse for that locker room. They're not going to recover. The Buccaneers, however, at home, they're not going to leave anything to chance. Nothing to chance. They're going to demolish the Eagles, absolutely obliterate them. Do I like the 8.5? Absolutely not. Do I like 4.5? Do I like 4? Can you give me 4 in the first half? Absolutely. I think the Buccaneers go into the locker room up a touchdown. There's nothing that they're going to leave out there. I'm sorry, they're going to leave everything out there. And I love the Buccaneers this weekend. I think the Eagles, by sitting their players, by sitting Jalen Hurts, I think it did worse for their locker room. And I think Mike McCarthy had the right idea playing the Cowboys get right. I think the Eagles should have played Hurts to get right. And guess what? You're not going to get right versus the Buccaneers at home in the playoffs. So give me the Bucs, give me the first half, and inject it into my fucking veins.
The defending champs are back.
They're so
great point on that one. Is I hate it when they sit players. I always think that does more harm than good. It just puts that rust on them. It's like you're not really helping them carry momentum. And it was actually the one smart thing that Dallas did last week is they basically played virtually everybody, and they had they didn't really have anything to play for in that game. They just went out there.
No, a little bit of seeding, protection, but not much.
Yeah, they didn't have to go in there and put 50 spot on the scout team for the Eagles, but they did it anyways just to get that momentum to carry over and play. They're gonna have to play the Niners, and that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be that. I'm hoping that's going to be the best game on the board.
Yeah, it's right in that 4:30 Saturday, Sunday primetime spot. So
perfect spot to have that game. That's old school rivalry shit too. I mean, Dallas
early to mid 90s. Yeah,
the Terrell Owens and put spiking the ball onto the star and getting smacked for it by the corner running back.
Yeah, and then George Teague comes flying in.
Oh yeah, that's right, George Teague. Yeah. Oh, that was the best.
And then a few years later, he's a Cowboy.
Yeah, he was. T.O. was wearing a Bama hat in the crowd last night. You see that?
I was there. I didn't see that.
Yeah, they had a picture of him. He had the Bama hat on. He probably jinxed him. So that was good for my bet.
Any last qualms? Any questions in the chat? We're at the 45-minute witching hour. I don't want to take all of your time tonight. Questions in the chat?
We do have questions in the chat, and I'm not sure if it's YouTube screwing up or it's just some hieroglyphics on the chat. But it's doing some crazy stuff right now that basically the verbiage in there is incoherent. I don't know what they're trying to say.
So it's basically me on a Saturday night. talking to my girlfriend.
We could be getting spam. They might be a little spamming.
It might be. It looks like spam, and because they're basically saying the same thing over and over. But that's all right.
Okay. Well,
but if you're watching this now, watching this later, subscribe to our YouTube.
Read. It's been fucking awesome. Subscribe, rate us, follow my man Guns Picks, but don't follow him and not follow me because he's got 400 more followers than me now. All right.
Is that right?
I've been slowing down and he's been on the uptrend.
I lost 10 lately.
He's Guns Picks. I'm Lock Bets. He's the odds fellow. Tomorrow, or if you're watching this today, tune in to short-term, high volatility investments. Did I get that one right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got
tune
it,
in
man.
to my boy Odds Fellows and the Old Man Who Bets, his show. Hopefully I get to host again because this was fun. Anything else, guy?
Awesome job. Yeah. What's your record on that show, by the way, Odds? You and the Old Man?
We finished. Well, you were a big part of that with the 3-0 on your end as a guest. So including yours and Jeff's and mine's combined picks, because we were each releasing solo picks. We were 33, 14, and 1. 33, 14, and 1.
That's unbelievable.
32.
That's the
32
entire NFL season.
Yeah, it was 32 or 33, 14 and 1 push. So
you know what that is? That's called
really
free. That's free money for the people.
It's free money.
All you have to do is watch a show, and it's on.
It was 1 to 3 picks.
Yep.
1 to 3 picks a day.
1:37 p.m. And then you check out the YouTube channel, and you can actually see them live on their Twitter handles as well.
Woo!
But that's it. You want to close us out, Locks?
Take us home.
As I just said, I love Mr. Tom Brady this weekend. I also love the idea of some ice cold beers, watching football, and winning some fucking wagers. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. If you hear or see Pun Picks on the street, tell him we've been asking about him because he is MIA. Guys, episode 67 is in the books. I'm Lock Bets, Guns Picks, Odds Fellow, and we are out.
Peace.